Hello friends, welcome to the channel CreateConnect.com. In the last session, we have discussed the context in React. So that was the part one, and we have discussed the basic how to use the context and how to create the context, how to get the provider, and how to use them inside the function component as well as in the class component. So in this session, we will discuss the context consumer. Okay, so with the help of consumer, how you can call the user context without the help of any huge context hook. Also, we will discuss the how to change the context data from any child component. So these two things we will discuss in this session. So in the last session, we have done this example in which we have created the 6 components, in which 5 are functional and last one was the class component. And we have called the context inside this with the help of this context type inside the class component, and we have used the use context hook to call the context data, and we have used this data to print them inside the function as well as class component. Now we will use the context consumer. So what we will do, we will comment this out and we will use the wrapper called the user context dot consumer. Okay, we will wrap this whenever wherever we will have to use, we will wrap that content sorry JSX inside this one. Now we will have to get this user. So for that you will have to write user. This is the syntax, and you will have to pass. Okay. Now you can see in the component 5 we are again getting this data edge user. Okay. Delete this. Get the error. That means you are getting the exact expected output. Okay. So with the help of consumer, we are wrapping our JSX elements, and we are using the data with the help of this callback syntax. Okay. So in that case, we will not require any hook here. Similarly, you can use this one inside the component. Just check it here. We will take in the class component, and it's similar. We will use this syntax. And we will rename this. Let's suppose user 2. You can see this is the coming data with the context, but we will replace this with. So see, when we have replaced the user 2, we are getting the same data with the help of this consumer. We can comment this out because we are not using this one. So this is the another way to use your context inside any class component or function component. The syntax will be same for all because we are using the wrapper called context.consumer. By the help of provider, we have provided the context. Okay, and with the help of consumer, we are consuming the context. So we will not need any requirement of context type or use context inside any component. So now, first thing is this one. Second thing is that we can call multiple context as well. So for if you have multiple context, how can you call it? So let's suppose we have another context called greet. This is the greet context greeting for greeting. Okay. So we have created the another one, another context with greet context. So for that we will create one state here also here. We are replacing with A. Okay. Now, how will pass? How will pass this as a provider? So here we will use the same syntax and we will double wrap that component, the grid component, grid context. Okay. There will be the grid, the value will be state. Now we have wrapped the same component with two providers, two context providers. Okay. How can we use if you want to have to use? So if you want to use, then you can use like this. Here you will have to group this return first of all. Like this, you will have to create a fragment so that there will be one fragment. Now what you will have to do, you will have to call this like so. Copy this one and again the same syntax we will copy. This will be the text. Now we what we have done, this is the user and this is the this, what we want to just this grid here. So now you can see we are using the two consumers, one inside another. The first one is giving the name, the user, and the second one is giving the ratings. Hey, that's all. So with this way, you can call multiple providers and you can call the consume the providers, context providers in any component. Similar way, you can use this inside the function component. And syntax will be there. You will not have to change anything. Now, the third point is how to update the data from the consuming component to the first component. So let's suppose we want to change some data like name from any child component. Okay, and this name is also used by the two components. Already using by the two components 5 and 6. So if we change it from any one component, the name will be reflected to the both components, this one and this one as well. Because we will update the data to the parent one, and parent one is sending the provider all the nested childs. So all the nested childs will get the updated data. So for that, we will change some syntax here. Change in the text. Have here empty method. We will override it in the and we have set will be use the set user. Let's suppose pass the value whatever the here we will also pass the value and we will use the user data, not the this. whenever we will call this set name, it will update the user, and the user is used by any providers or sorry, any consumer. It will get. Okay. So this one is the syntax. Now here we are using the user. So the user dot name now. Otherwise you will get the object. Also we will have. Now what we will do, we want to change this name from the child this class. Let's suppose with the help of this class we will. So we will create an input tag here. Type equal to text. We will have on change method here. We have the reference and have all the dot target and also you can change the factor. Okay, so here you can see the same name is binding to the this um, input tag, and from this input tag we want, if we will change any data, it should reflect here as well as in file data. So here you can see the component 6 we are getting the updated one. In the component 5 we are also getting the updated one. If you want to see in the first component, it is also the getting the updated one data. That means you are updating the context data, and the context data is consuming by any component will reflect the same data when you update this. If you change, it will reflect here in the component 5, also in the component 1. So this is the example to change the context data from any child component. Hope you understand this three scenario what we have covered inside this session. The first one is how to use context consumer, which will replace the use of useContext and context type class component. Okay. Second one was how to use multiple context provider and the same component. Third one was how to change data in context. Okay. Now, child component. So these three topics we have covered in this session, and these all are related with the context. So the first part was covered in the earlier session, the basic one, how to use this use context and context type. And this session we have covered these 3 points. So hope you will have great understanding. Okay, thanks for watching this session. We will come with another React.js topics in next coming session. Like this video and subscribe our channel.